everyone. You all know me. I'm Mrs. Peters Manning. This morning we are so fortunate to have members from the Hopewell Township Police Department, Patrol Officer Chosick and Detective Leota are going to give you a presentation on social media, which I know we all use and think is very important. So without further ado, I will hand it over to them.
I'm going to try not to use the mic. Can everyone hear me in the back? Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so we'll do quick introductions. I'm Detective Adam Leota for Hopewell Township. I started in Hopewell in 2018. Became a detective in October of 2020, and I became the juvenile liaison between the police department and the school district. So pretty much any kind of juvenile-related matters come across my desk, and I deal with it. However, my duties are going to be changing within the department. It's going to be turned over to Officer Chosick in the near future. Started my law enforcement career actually just over 10 years ago. In 2012, I became a Class 1 police officer in Belmar in Monmouth County, which was essentially like beachfront patrol, parking tickets, and all that fun stuff. Then they sent me to the academy in 2013 in Monmouth County. Graduated in May 2013. Worked in Belmar a little bit longer, which was made me a part-time police officer in simpler terms. After that, in September of 2013, I got hired with Old Bridge Township as a part-time officer. Worked there briefly until I got hired with Englishtown Borough in Monmouth County. I was there for 2 years as part-time, and then they hired me full-time in 2015. Worked there for another 2 years, and then I got hired here in Hopewell. Graduated Ocean Township High School in 2010. Got my associate's degree from Brookdale Community College in 2013, and just last year I just got my bachelor's degree from Fairleigh Dickinson University. I'm married, been with my wife for 13 years, so since high school, been married 5 years. We have 2 kids, a 2-year-old son, and an 8-month-old daughter. A little bit about me. So I'm going to pass it over to Steve here. Real quick, this is very important information. We all know, if not all of you, have social media. I do too. Staff does as well, I'm sure. But we got to be smart about it. We're going to get into more detail on the consequences that this may affect, okay? So I'll pass it over to Steve.
So I didn't know we were doing those kinds of introductions. Steve Chosick, Hopewell Township Police. I've been with the department for almost 4 years now. It's kind of funny, Detective Leota actually did my background. So it's full circle now. I've been in it for 7 years. Prior to Hopewell, I worked at Princeton University as a police officer. I was there for almost 4 years. I got hired in 2019 by Hopewell Township. Like the detective said, I'll be moving into his position. I won't be sitting at his desk, unfortunately. I'll be sitting at a different desk, but still in the same room. I'm a local guy. I grew up in Lawrence Township, in the town next to here. I graduated from Lawrence High in 2008. I have my bachelor's degree from Kane University. Graduated in 2015. Bachelor's degree in criminal justice. What else? I'm also married. I have 12 years. What do you have, 13? Yeah. We've been together for 13, so he's got me by a year. I will be celebrating our 2nd anniversary June 5th, and I also have a 1-year-old daughter who just turned 1 the other day. So that is my story. We're going to start off with a little video.
So far, so good on this.
Sorry for the delay. We know what we're doing. So. There we go. Yep.
We had a case last year where a boy was being attacked in the toilet. They put down his pants and they filmed it with the phone. He didn't want it to be reported because he said the police will actually do more harm to him if he reports.
Bullies to compensate for feelings of disempowerment that they feel when they are themselves bullied. They will then inflict harm on others in a way that allows them to feel that thrill that their bullies have felt.
Why do you think teens do not want to speak up about cyberbullying? They think it's a point of weakness to ask for help. People think, it's normal, and they just brush it off, but actually it's really affecting them down inside.
If you report every single person who has cyberbullied you, a lot of people will be judging you for that.
I think young people are afraid that their parents will cut access to technological devices. For young people, communication via these devices is very much part and parcel of their day-to-day life.
What we can do is teach children social responsibility, social etiquettes in using the phone. We need to really get out there and tell the children this. We can't take the phone away from them. That's not going to work.
What do we think of the video? We liked it? Yeah. So, show of hands, who has...
See if they'll need your credit card info every time you check out. You guys got credit cards?
You guys don't have credit cards yet, do you?
Hey, if you're in Mercer County,
Show of hands, who has social media here? Who has Facebook? Yeah, Facebook isn't as popular. Yeah, I see some of the teachers have their hands up. Yeah, Facebook isn't as popular with kids your age nowadays as much as like, who has Instagram? And let me guess, you guys have like 2 posts but like 3,000 like followers probably or something like that. That's how like most kids are. Snapchat. So I have Snapchat, but I have no idea how it works. Yeah, like people have like, you can actually see where like your friends are and like that kind of stuff. And then there's like a score of some sort. Is that how it works? There's a score, right? Yeah. Okay, so how does the score work? Anybody, just shout it out.
If you keep posting like pictures,
You get like a score? You don't know.
so every time you send someone a snap, you
Yeah.
get 1, or every time you receive 1, you get a point. And
You get a point.
it keeps building up over time.
Gotcha. What are people's scores here? You don't know your score is? Gotcha. So I did a background on an applicant, and she had like a consecutive day of like 3,000 days of like posting like, actually no, that sounds like too many. Let's go with like 1,000 days of posting back and forth with her sister. Every day they would send a Snapchat to each other. And I had no idea what she was talking about. And I had to ask her what it was. So I feel like I'm showing my age sometimes. So cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is when an individual is tormented, threatened, harassed, humiliated, embarrassed, or otherwise targeted by a person using the internet, interactive and or digital technologies or mobile phones. Cyberbullying can take many forms, sending threatening messages or content, slandering someone online, posting hurtful or threatening messages or content on social media, posting racially insensitive or biased material online, taking or posting unflattering pictures of someone online, or circulating via text, sexting, or circulating sexually suggestive material.
And before we keep going, we all went over that list, right? Without ratting anyone out, by show of hands, how many people have seen stuff like this on social media? Now,
That's a lot.
keep your hands up if you actually reported it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, bigger number than I thought. That's good. All right.
I just have a question. Can you guys just explain what slandering someone
So if you're like talking about someone in a negative way, maybe telling lies about someone that's not completely true, pretty simple like that.
What could be an example? Thinking of, I'm a sports guy, so like LeBron James, if anybody's like a sports person here, you guys know who LeBron James is?
Yep.
So people could be like, LeBron James is a terrible basketball player. He's an absolutely fantastic basketball player. But you're slandering him by making negative things about him. Because you'll see like those things online, like especially like popular people, they get a lot of this cyberbullying. Like people post things on Instagram, like celebrities, and then you'll see like everybody comment like, oh, you're not like, you're ugly, you're fat, you're terrible at this, you're terrible at that. So those are some types of examples. Good question. Cyber harassment. A person commits the crime of cyber harassment if making a communication in an online capacity. Threatens to inflict injury or physical harm. Knowingly send, post comments, requests, suggests, or proposes any lewd, indecent, or obscene material to or about a person with the intent to emotionally harm a reasonable person or place, reasonably person in fear of physical or emotional harm to this person, or threatens to commit any crime against the person or the person's property.
That's just the textbook definition of cyber harassment. So when we had to do a charge, we have to make sure all that fits, or something in there fits before we do a criminal charge against someone for cyber harassment.
Legal penalties. Cyber harassment is a fourth-degree crime. Absent any aggravating factors is a fourth-degree felony. Significantly more serious than harassment. Conviction under fourth-degree cyber harassment would result in a felony record. Max penalty of 18 months in prison and fine of up to $10,000. Cyber harassment as a third-degree crime. When certain mitigating factors exist, cyber harassment may be charged as a crime of the third degree. Person committing the offense is 21 years of age or older. Anybody over here 21 years of age or older? That's a student. At the time of the offense in impersonating a minor, by his crime would constitute third degree. And third degree cyber harassment is punishable by 3 to 5 years in prison and a fine up to $15,000.
So, has everyone heard of a felony before? Okay. Has anyone heard of a misdemeanor before? Okay. So in New Jersey, we do something a little bit different. We do indictable and disorderly person offense. Okay, an indictable is essentially a felony, which we all know what it is, right? So that is a first, second, third, fourth degree crime. If it's a disorderly persons, petty disorderly, that's it, right? It's a disorderly persons offense. Okay, it's a lesser penalty, a misdemeanor, if you will, but you see that simple cyber harassment could cause you to get a felony. Okay.
Victim. If you are the victim, tell a parent, teacher, or trusted adult. Talk to a friend. Save any and all harassing messages and content. Block the harasser from contact with you, i.e. social media, phone numbers, etc. You guys know how to block people on social media? Okay, how do you do it then? You guys just all nodded your head, but you're not going to answer.
Often there's like the three dot thingies.
Yes.
Press that, block them there.
Yes.
Text, swipe, and block. You know, different.
Thank you. Who has blocked somebody on social media before? There we go. I like this. What about text messages? How many of you answer phone calls when you don't know the phone number? I am so disappointed in you guys. You guys actually answer the phone? And what is it for, like your auto insurance when you don't even know the car? Or like your Comcast bill is up, but you probably have like Verizon or Fios or something like that? What's up? Wait, hold on. Yeah. So future, if you don't know the phone number, don't answer it. Just let it go to voicemail. They probably want to tell you about your student loans when you haven't even gone to college yet.
All right. So real quick, a lot of you had Snapchat, right? So when you take a picture and you send it to someone, it goes away after they open it?
Yeah.
And then if you do a story, it goes away within what, 24 hours?
Yeah.
Okay, is that entirely true?
Yes.
Unless you save it? Screenshot?
Like, I feel like all the photos are tracked. There's like, while they might not be there and you can get them, you can still access them.
So, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, all these social media sites, TikTok, they all have pretty much everything stored. So as simple as us doing a subpoena for those records will tell us everything we need to know.
And a subpoena is?
A court order to the information on your account, if you are a suspect or anything like that. Does it tell us where your location is? We all know Snapchat's got that location on there, right?
Can I turn it off?
You turn it off.
Or it shows where
Again,
it
is that entirely true?
No.
No.
Okay. It's entirely true for you, but for us, we could find that. Okay? Your phone tells us so much information. All we have to do is plug it into this little machine. It uploads everything we need to know. GPS history, deleted contacts, deleted picture, anything we want to know, it's coming off that phone. So just because you hit delete does not mean it's going anywhere.
And do you guys recommend people sharing their recommendations or their birthdays or things like that?
I say don't put any of that personal information on Facebook. You have your bio, the about me or whatever it is. Leave all that information blank. No one needs to know that because those friends that you were saying that are your friends, they should know your birthday. They should know where you live. They should know where you grew up. Don't leave it available for any other random person to find you. Okay? Not only that, you got someone that might want to steal your identity. Someone who's gonna maybe portray to be you and then request someone else using all your pictures, using all your personal information, and creating another account, and now adding your friends with their new account, and then doing all these different crimes to you. Okay? So definitely, if you guys have that, get rid of it. Update your profiles. I really suggest that. Turn off any locations because if you have your locations on and we're friends, I can see exactly where you are. Okay? Turn that stuff off. Any other questions?
Always remember your true friends will know your birthday. Right? I don't know my wife's birthday, but I know the month. Close enough. Alright, if you are, alright guys, hold up. So if you are a friend that's presented, the victim comes to you, always be supportive, don't place blame. When in doubt, report the incident. This can be done anonymously. We all have those friends when they report something, they say, oh, don't tell the police, don't tell so-and-so. I'm gonna not be your friend anymore. We hear it all the time. I'm sure you've heard it. I heard it all the time when I was at the university. I would deal with this type of incident once a shift sometimes because I was dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds. So they would always say, well, I came here, my friend's the victim, but they told me not to come here, or we're not gonna be friends anymore. If they tell you and it's something serious, come to us. Your friends will realize later that they will apologize if they're not. You should maybe find new friends. But if they're gonna, you should take it seriously. Like if your friends think, if it's something serious and they have an incident like this, come to us, okay? Tell a parent, tell a teacher. We take these incidents very seriously.
And these are very common, okay? Like I said, being the juvenile liaison with all of Hopewell Valley, essentially, so the Hopewell Valley School District, I would get phone calls daily from the high school, middle school, elementary school for stuff exactly like this, okay? Students, and a lot more students know about it, right? But then they don't want to report it. Be that one student to report it. Even if your friend says incompetent, don't tell anyone, but I have the situation, okay? It's your best interest to tell an adult, teacher, whomever, but don't be that person later on after the fact to say, oh, I should have said something before it progresses. Yes?
Is there a way to report it anonymously, so without someone knowing who you are?
Yeah, so if you, say you're in school and you want to report it to a teacher, the teacher's gonna call us, and then they'll tell us they want to be anonymous. So when we do our reporting, we will make sure your information is not going to be in that report. So if someone requests that report, won't know it came from you. They'll know it came from the school, but not you. Good?
Your friends will thank you in the long run.
Any other questions?
So I saw a poll the other day when I was doing some research about this stuff. What do you think are the top 3 social media sites where the most cyberbullying occurs? Did you say TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Snapchat?
Snapchat's 3rd. What's 2nd? Twitter. Good guess, but no. Instagram?
Facebook?
That's 2. What's 1?
MySpace.
No. Does anybody know what MySpace is? Students here?
MySpace is awesome.
So MySpace was legit back in the day, where you had your top 8. Okay, teachers? Yes. Okay. So you had your top 8 friends, and like you would always get in an argument in school. They'd be like, "Well, how come I'm not in your top 8?" And then there would just be bickering throughout the day of, "Hey, can you replace me with so and so I could be in your top 8 and everything like that." I logged on to it maybe like, what year is it? 2023. I logged into it maybe like 10 years ago to see if it even worked, and it actually worked. It was pretty crazy to see. All the people that are in my top 8, I don't even talk to them anymore. So it's just funny. So Facebook's 1, Instagram's 2, Snapchat's 3. Those are the top 3 out of 8 that they listed as the 3 biggest cyberbullying, harassment apps.
So going based off of him going to MySpace and seeing it all still there, how many of you had a Facebook and deleted it? Okay. Is it deleted? Okay. Because you can actually sign back in and reactivate your account exactly how you left it. Facebook does not delete it. Okay? So just remember that too when you're saying, "Oh, I'm going to deactivate my Facebook account," and it's still there. Okay? So just remember that as well.
Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Continuing, threats of violence, sexually explicit messages or photos, takes a photo or video of someone in a place where he or she would expect privacy, stalking would be crimes. So here's a question for you. When should you report to the police?
When something is like about maybe actual violence.
Yes. What else? It's on the screen.
When somebody like or person or something.
I'm sorry?
As soon as you see it.
Yes.
If you see something about it over and over again,
Mhm.
and it's like pretty dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
When you see those
Good answer. I like that. Anything that's on the screen, you can't take his idea. He said that already.
When you have evidence.
I'm sorry?
When you have evidence.
When you have evidence, correct.
when someone talks to
When someone stalks you? Yes. So, when you report it to the police, make sure wherever you guys live, because I know you guys are throughout the state, so if you see these incidents, take a guardian, somebody over the age of 18, sibling, parent, grandparent, neighbor, somebody, and go to your local police department and report the incident. Okay?
Now, we obviously have a gym here. Do you have a locker room in this gym somewhere? You guys change? No? Okay. So in the high school, they have a locker room, so they change in there and all that. So you would get students that take a picture of one another while they're changing, and they start sending that around. So that okay? Is that something you should report right away? Is that something, if you get a copy of that picture sent to your phone as a text message from in a group chat, what do? Do you send it to other people and say that's funny, or do you report it to the teacher? Okay, on the same page. Perfect.
When do you report it?
By the way,
Right away. Correct.
Could taking a picture, even an appropriate picture, in a locker room or a bathroom be a crime in of itself? Because it's considered a private area?
No, so if they're, it's gotta be case by case. So if they're changing, obviously, yeah, but if it's just like a picture of someone just standing there, not necessarily a bad thing.
They're
Okay.
taking like a mirror image of themselves because everybody loves to take photos of themselves in the mirror. I know you're all laughing because you guys probably all do it.
Bathroom, recording with a camera, that's okay.
No, it's not a
No.
bad thing. Yeah, but it is a case by case basis, so it depends on the circumstances of what actually is occurring. What are they filming? What are they taking pictures of? Are they taking pictures of someone in a stall? Are they just taking pictures of someone standing next to their locker fully clothed, doing something stupid? And that's a different scenario, you know what I mean? So, just keep your phones out of the locker room, right? Bathroom, right? So, yes.
So if somebody were to report an incident, like what happened? Like what does that look like? Just in case someone feels nervous about reporting it, like what are the steps that happen after someone makes the report?
So let's say they report it to you, right? You'll take it up to your chain of command, whoever your boss is, and then they'll call us. Well, if it's here, it'll be Pennington Police Department. They'll call them. They'll come take that report. If you wish to remain anonymous, like we said before, we'll leave that out. But if you have pictures, screenshots, videos, whatever it is, we're gonna need copies of that. That is what we call probable cause, right? So then what we'll do, if the person is the accused is a juvenile, we'll reach out to the parent or guardian, have them come down to the police department, and we talk to them, see what the whole deal is. And if there's enough to criminally charge, we might do that. But there's also other alternatives here. Has anyone heard of station house adjustment? Probably not. Okay, so station house adjustment is pretty much like a one-time deal. So if you were to get in trouble for something, let's just say it's a 4th degree crime, and what I'll do is I'll gather all the information, and if I determine that, okay, what you did was stupid, you agree with what you did was stupid, and you won't do it again, and then also with the victim's consent or agreement, I'll ask them, hey, do you want to pursue charges, or do you want to do a station house adjustment? What a station house adjustment is, it's an agreement. It's pretty much a contract between the accused and the police department. And what that is you do maybe 10 hours community service, an apology letter, don't get in trouble with the school or police within 3 to 6 months, whatever we determine, and as long as you adhere to that, no harm, no foul. No record, nothing, okay? But that has to get approved by the prosecutor's office. So after I get all my information, my ducks in a row, I'm gonna call the prosecutor's office and I'm gonna tell them everything that happened. I might suggest the station house adjustment. They could deny it or they could approve it. If they approve it, then we're good. Now, say you don't adhere to this. Say I give you 3 months to do all this. Say you don't adhere to it, I'm gonna call you, see what the deal is. If I don't get an answer, this has happened numerous times to me, I'll call the prosecutor's office and what they're gonna tell me is either I give them another month or just charge them and be done with it. Okay, and I've done that where I just charge the juvenile, take it up with the judge.
So when you say juvenile, we just define.
Juvenile is anyone under the age of 18. Okay, I'm assuming everyone here is under 18, right?
When you probably hear juvenile, you think of like someone like a kid that's like erratic, breaking windows, stealing cars, doing those types of things. In our line of work and in regular outside world, juvenile is anybody under the age of 18.
Yes.
You have it's not open to take pictures, you send pictures, it's not good if people take pictures and do that and stuff on
That's gonna be if someone takes your picture and just starts sending it around to everyone, and you don't want that, right? That is considered harassment. Okay.
But if you tell them to do it,
Then yeah. So on that topic, if you tell someone, hey, stop, talking about me, stop sending all these messages about me. Say you do it in the text message form, and I actually kind of recommend this, and the reason why is that now you have documentation saying that you told this person to stop on this date and time. If this person continues after that date and time, then we got a problem.
That's
Okay.
harassment.
Absolutely. Yep. Any other questions?
So for those instances, a lot of the times you can take a screenshot of the text messages just to keep it in your receipts.
Sure.
But what if you take it, you know, a couple days after and the time and date of the photo isn't the same as when you get those messages? Does it matter that much or?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
a
So
lot
just
of-
always take one.
Yeah. So a lot of the times they had like the timestamp on in the text thread or something like that.
Right.
If
Sometimes.
even like I know the iPhones, you slide the text or image to the left or something, it has the time, and try to screenshot it like that. Or you could do that and have someone else take a picture of it, whatever is easier, but not necessarily a big issue. Yeah. Yes.
So, say you say stop someone that's bullying you.
Yep.
And they say no. Isn't that another way of getting evidence that they are?
Yeah. So and also, say you guys are buddies, right? And someone's doing this. Now you got a witness. So you got someone else that's going to be able to tell me that you told them no, you told them to stop, and then continue to do it. Right? Anything else?
We're gonna move on to sexting. Sexting is sending, receiving, or forwarding sexually explicit messages. Photographs or images primarily between mobile phones may include the use of computer and a digital device.
Does everyone understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen, let me rephrase that. I've been involved in cases where juveniles, anyone under the age of 18, has sent sexually explicit images to another person. And then what do you think that person did with that picture? Okay? And then what do you think that person did? Now it's a trickle effect, right? So it happens a lot, yes.
Blackmail?
Yeah. You're blackmailing someone, right? Does everyone understand what blackmail is? Yeah? Okay.
And 1 in 10 adolescents and teens have had embarrassing or damaging pictures taken of themselves without their permission, often using cell phone cameras. About 1 in 5 teens have posted or sent sexually suggestive or nude pictures of themselves to others.
So here's a suggestion. Don't do it. Right? Like we said before, everything you put on that phone, it's there forever. Okay? So even if you're just taking it for yourself or whatever the case is, if for your boyfriend, if for your girlfriend, whoever it is, just don't do it. There's a good chance it's gonna leak out. Say, God forbid, you lose your phone. Now someone has your phone. And guess where those pictures are gonna be? Right? And I know a lot of us have locks on our phones that makes it hard to get in, but there are very smart people out there that can hack into your phone and they get all your information. Yes.
So say somebody sends you a picture, right, that's not appropriate, and then you share it or forward it to somebody else, are you then part of that?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
Even if you're not the initial person?
Yep. Go ahead. I'll get into that.
What if someone just a photo and then you wanna like share it with someone, like you say, oh, this happened to me, share it with me, and then you send a picture to them and they like that like
Try not to send it. If you're considering to report it and you want to get someone's opinion, just show it to them. Don't send it out one way or the other.
So if you think it's bad, go with it.
When in doubt, trust your gut. Yeah, report it because you don't want to get involved later on down the road. That we end up calling all these students in and we get information that you had it on your phone as well. Okay, you're the first person to report it, so then there's no harm, no foul. Now, we're gonna get into Megan's Law and sex offender registry and all that stuff in just a second. But I kind of want to dive into going back to what you were saying. So even though you're a juvenile, okay, you get a picture that says a naked picture of someone. Now you're sending that picture of that juvenile who's naked to a friend. Okay, now what's what you're doing? You're sending child pornography. That's a whole nother ballgame. Okay? Now if that person you sent it to sends it to another person, now they're distributing child pornography. See what I'm saying? So everyone that's sending that picture is involved. Do not be that person. Okay? Anything else?
Endangering the welfare of a child. A person commits a crime in the second degree if he photographs or films a child in a prohibited sexual act when simulation of such an act, or who use any device, including a computer, to reproduce or reconstruct the image of a child in a prohibit sexual act when the simulation of such an act. Person commits a crime in the second degree if by any means, including but not limited to the internet, he knowingly distributes an item depicting the sexual exploitation, or abuse of a child, knowingly possesses an item depicting the sexual exploitation or abuse of a child with the intent to distribute that item, or knowingly stores and maintains an item depicting the sexual exploitation or abuse of a child using a file sharing program, which is designated as available for searching by or copying to one or more other computers.
So I know that's a mouthful, but again, textbook definition, just so it's kind of cut and dry right there in front of you. So this is kind of gearing towards an adult that's taking pictures of juvenile and sending it out or whatever the case may be. I've had cases where someone had a camera set up in a bathroom at a Dunkin' Donuts, and that camera was filming people going in, okay, while they're using the bathroom. I know it's gross. And if a kid comes in there, now it's a whole different ballgame, okay? So a lot gets heightened if it's a juvenile as well, okay? Yeah.
Megan's Law, Sex Offender Registry. Megan's Law is a name for federal law and a formal name for subsequent state laws in the United States requiring law enforcement authorities to make information available to the public regarding registered sex offenders. Registrants are classified into Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 offenders based on a risk assessment. Each of the above mentioned tiers have different levels of notification associated with them, which can vary from law enforcement only to notification of the community and being listed as a sex offender on the NJSP, New Jersey State Police online sex offender registry. If a juvenile is charged with endangering the welfare of a child, they may be subject to Megan's Law.
So Tier 1 is your least, Tier 3 is the worst. I can tell you right now, there's no Tier 3s in Hopewell Township area. If there were, then pretty much everyone here would know about it. Okay, so if we get a notification, so we have an officer, detective that handles these. We don't have very many sex offenders within the township of Hopewell. And they have to check in with us once a year, let us know their employment status, their residence, and then kind of update their information, contact information, vehicle information. We literally know everything about this person because if they do not register with us every year, then we track them down, they're gonna get charged, and they're gonna probably go back to jail. So we do have Tier 1s within our township, but Tier 3, if it's Tier 3, we literally, it's all hands on deck. We go door to door within a certain mile radius. I don't know it off the top of my head, but we go door to door and say, hey, we got this sex offender in this township, just making you aware, here are the deals. Okay, but if it's a Tier 1, Tier 2, schools will know about it, nearby residents will know about it. And a lot of the stuff, you can look it up online. You can see if there's any in your area. If you're that curious to see if there's anyone by you that is a registered sex offender. Go to the next slide. So Megan's Law, this stemmed from Hamilton, New Jersey back in 1994. This is where it all began.
Does anybody live in Hamilton here? In Mercer County here? So this is from town of New Jersey.
So 7-year-old Megan Kanka, who was raped and killed by a known child molester who had moved across the street from the family without their knowledge. In the wake of that tragedy, the Kankas sought to have local communities warned about sex offenders in the area. So this went all the way to the president, I believe. Was that Bush back in 94? 96? Clinton. So he was the one that pretty much signed off on this and had this registry throughout our state. And it's actually going through multiple states as well. Not every state has it. They have their own little thing, but this is kind of branching to almost all the states. You first. Yes. Yep. They didn't kill him. No, he went to jail. I don't know.
Can a juvenile, so a person under 18, become a sex offender by sending pictures?
Yep.
Yep.
Depending on the severity of it, you can be on that list.
So a person under 18 that sent a picture of themselves or just of someone else?
Someone else.
So someone else, like if they got a picture and they sent it, they could become one of these sex offenders. Like that could happen.
also think of it like this: if you're under the age of 18, you're sending an inappropriate picture of yourself to someone else, you are sending out child pornography. So think of it like that as well. So you're kind of like the catalyst of all this. Okay? So just because you're sending it to a friend or whomever and make it all innocent, it's still against the law, essentially. Okay? Yes?
You talk in our terms of me, under the Vegas law, what that means for the rest of your life.
So it could be temporary, but it could also be for the rest of your life. So if you're a registered sex offender, it could be you have to register for the next 20 years. Okay? So that means every year you have to register with whatever police department you reside in that town, and we pretty much know exactly where you are at all times. We're not tracking you, but we know where you work, we know where you live, we know closest relatives, everything we need to know about you. We know what car you drive. But then after, let's just say that 20 years is up, then you're good. It's still a record that you were a sex offender, so that's still going to follow you for the rest of your life, which means the chances of you getting a job are going to be very hard, depending on what you want to do. I know for our profession, that would not slide one bit. But there are cases where you have to register for the rest of your life. And I've seen stuff where it seems like such a minuscule incident that happened, but now they have to register for the rest of their life. Okay, we don't make that determination. That's all through courts and judges and stuff like that. People get paid a lot more than we do to make those decisions. Okay, so just because it's very small, minor in nature, doesn't mean you won't end up on this list. Okay.
So if you send one photo, you send several photos, it could ruin the rest of your life. So be mindful.
So other consequences, we went over criminal charges, convictions, Megan's law, sex offender, we went over that. School discipline, you can get suspended, expelled. Went over being able to get a job. Education, if you guys want to go to college, they're going to be aware of that. And you most likely probably won't get into that school. And then obviously lasting emotional, psychological harm to everyone that's involved, including yourself.
Because if you think about it, if a sex offender moves into a town, they know everybody knows. So you pretty much just, you are that one person and that's it. Like, no one's waving to you. Nobody's saying, hey, how are you? Like, that's it. You're just living in that house, probably gonna be miserable because nobody's gonna wanna talk to you. Family, friends, you're not gonna have any friends. You're not gonna have any family. So just be mindful.
How many people know what they want to do when they grow up? What do you want to do? Yeah. Okay. You think you'd be an actor if people know about this? What else we got?
Me?
Yeah.
I want to work in forensics or maybe be a police officer.
Well, there you go. That would definitely go bye-bye.
I want to be like a professional actor and like a singer.
Okay.
I want to be like,
That's it?
I want to be a dancer.
Brain surgeons?
Does
Okay.
anybody on this side want to do anything, or are you just gonna not have any of those?
Artist.
Okay. What kind of artist? Music, art, illustrator. Okay.
Cybersecurity,
Alright. Yeah.
music production,
Alright.
aerospace engineering.
Police and/or software.
Okay. Did you have your hand up? Okay. Okay.
So a lot of you want to do really great things. Think about that as you're moving on in your life, that one little text message could put all that away. Okay?
Smart people.
Yeah, seriously.
I still don't know what I want to do in my life.
Still figuring it out.
I thought you had a question.
Okay, I'm a social media influencer. Back to the social media, a YouTuber. Social media, right? Okay.
a baker or even something.
A baker or both, or just one?
Yeah,
You can do
either
both.
one.
That's what you can do both. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, you want to be a cop? You want to have a canine? Yeah, I do too.
What kind of baking?
Let us know when you bake something.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to share what they want to do?
I want to be a K-9 unit officer or a chef.
Okay. Okay. Well, I wanted to go into music production, like you, and here I am today. So things kind of change, right? When I was going to college, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and it was kind of tough. But here we are, right? 10 years later. So keep those goals in mind. Don't throw it away. A lot of you guys have great things, great ideas. When you guys turn 18 and all that, we'll expect you guys to apply to Hopewell. Okay? Hopefully get our K-9 unit up and running.
I wanted to go into golf management, see where that landed with.
That's your retirement.
All right, advice for young people. That is you. All right, think about the consequences. Never take the images before hitting the send button. Okay, think about it. Think what the repercussions might be. If you forwarded a sexually picture of someone underage, you're responsible for the image. And obviously, as we've said the entire time, always report. So think about the consequences. Never take before hitting send, before the sexual message, sexual picture, and report.
Pretty simple, right?
Anybody have questions about this? No? Yes.
Let's say you're on like a group chat, something shows up in the screen. What's like the first thing that the other person should do? Is it immediately go to the police? Or what would you recommend sort of the sequence of the chat? You can necessarily do anything and
Yeah.
something there you're not sure about.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Not necessarily go right to the police, but go to your parent, guardian, teacher, wherever you are at that time. Definitely report it right then and there. Because then they'll be the ones to contact us, and then we'll do our investigation. Like I said, if you're not totally involved, take that screenshot, because a lot of people try to delete the messages or block you and then you can't see anything. Definitely take that action, just so it covers your end. Okay? Because we don't want you to get involved in something that you had no part in doing. That answer?
If you remain silent about something, it goes on to become something.
It can, so if it's a situation where someone sends it, you're in that group chat, but you don't send it to anyone else or anything like that, you'll be okay. We're not gonna, we'll talk to you about it. Anyone that's in that group chat, we'll talk to. But if you didn't send it or anything like that, you're not gonna get in any trouble. But we do recommend that you do report it, just so it doesn't escalate to anything later on down the road, because you can prevent an issue later on down the road. Because if you don't say anything, then that picture's just gonna keep going and going and going, and then I gotta talk to 20 kids. That's big to do.
You guys know how to leave group messages, group chats? Okay. How? There you go. Alright, scenarios to review. Juvenile A sends nude photo to juvenile B. Okay? So in this situation, so we would interview all the involved parties, kids, the parents, the witnesses. We would look at the reset photos, we would reset the phones to factory settings at a minimum, and we would retain any evidence or photo. And depending on circumstances, criminal charges for possession of child pornography could occur. So just remember, you guys are under the age of 18, so your parents still have the say. So if we say, hey, can you take a look at your phone and reset it to factory mode? You guys can say no, but your parents are the ultimate decision makers.
They're most likely paying for it. So.
Yeah. Is anybody paying for their own cell phones, excluding the teachers? You are? Oh, I thought you raised your hand. Okay.
And if any juvenile needs to report something to the police, they would always have their parent with them when the police talk.
Absolutely, correct. Yep. Correct. So if we get a juvenile who wants to report something, obviously your parents are going to be there, but we will ask to speak to you alone, just because it's sometimes a little easier and sometimes it's a little more uncomfortable to talk in front of your parents. However, if you are a suspect in an investigation, we will ask permission, and with the signed consent form and everything, from your parents to talk to you alone. But your parents do have that right to sit in on that interview with you if you are the subject of investigation. So ideally, we try to talk to you by yourselves, so it's a little more comfortable. Obviously, talking to a police officer in a little room, a little scary and awkward, but we try to talk to you by yourself.
Our interview room's a little bit smaller than this room that we're in. Scenario 2, juvenile A sends new photos to juvenile B, juvenile B forwards it. So we would interview all involved parties, juvenile parents and witnesses, like the first example. We would confiscate all phones that potentially have the image. Cellular data warrants for all phones, devices, or consent to search. We would retain all data from all devices and store for evidence. And based on the data and evidence and statements, criminal charges for distribution of child pornography could occur, and felony record, negative law registry, and possible incarceration. So remember, you might send a photo, and then you might send it to like 6 other people. We're gonna interview those 6 other people. You know what's gonna happen with those 6 other people? We're gonna take your phones too. So.
What if a friend takes your phone and sends something on your phone?
Don't let them take your phone. It's your phone, it's your possession.
What if they know your password?
Your friends know your password? My
No.
wife doesn't even know my passcode to my phone.
What if they found that?
So here's the thing with that. This is going to be a he said, she said incident. So if you're saying, oh, she took my phone, she sent all those pictures, she knew my password, she's going to go and say, I don't know her password. How am I going to know her password? I didn't touch her phone. How are you going to prove that she did it to your phone?
Is she one of your friends? Do you know her passcode?
Oh, You're not helping here.
How many of you have the 6-digit passcodes and how many of you have the 4-digit passcodes? 4. People on the 4, you gotta step it up to 6. 12. Oh wow. What kind of phone do you have? Do you have an Android?
Hey.
Take away Android.
Hacks your account and uses your account as like a safeguard to send these pictures out. Would you still get blamed for them using your account and getting this information?
One of the kids trying to go to IT after this? Yeah, it sounds like an IT question.
So, no. So if we subpoena the information, right? Like I said, that court order to, let's say Instagram. One of the things we're going to request is an IP address. You know what an IP address is, right? It tells you your location on when or where that incident occurred at that time. So if you were in school and that IP address is pinging somewhere else, we know it wasn't you. Because they probably used a computer in, let's just say, Montgomery County. So that'll clear
And you wouldn't get any blame even though it was your phone.
Correct.
or-
Correct, yeah. But again, we have to do all that legwork to clear you.
Yeah.
Use and the harm that this sort of offending has on individuals and families.
So this is Megan's story. Alright, just put a little video we're gonna watch.
My name is Rachel and I'm
We're
a
almost
detective
done.
inspector with Northumbria
I know
Police.
it's a nice day out.
One of my teams deal with online sexual abuse and the harm that this sort of offending has on individuals and families. This video has been created so that you have the information to make decisions, especially as reports of child abuse online have risen 40% just this year. It's important for you to know the risks of sending private images of yourself and others, and that you speak to an adult that you trust if someone is pressurising you to send them. Thank you for watching.
My name is Megan Hinton and I'm here to share my story about sending photos of myself online. I hope from listening to this you can understand the impact that sending photos of yourself or other people can have, and I hope it makes you think twice before sharing images of yourself or anyone else. I just moved to a new school after being really badly bullied at my previous school, and so I sort of moved to make a new fresh start away from everything that I'd already known. So when I moved to this new school, I had all these friends and people actually wanting to talk to me and wanting to add me on all these new apps that were coming out, like Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook. I can remember being like amazed that I had all these new followers and actually kind of felt popular for once in my life, which was something that I never thought I'd ever feel. that it was a complete whirlwind, that I didn't really know who I was adding a lot of the time. Even though I knew they went to the school, this didn't necessarily mean that I knew them personally, or that I was in any of the classes, or that I'd even spoken to them before. I started contact with a boy who I knew went to my school in a year above me. During this time we built up a friendship. I felt like I knew quite a lot about him. Obviously my phone is constantly in my hand, so we were messaging at least 4, 5, 6 times an hour. And you do sort of build up trust in that time. And I'd never had friends before, so I wasn't quite sure what trust was. But yeah, after about 2 weeks, he started asking me to send photos that weren't just selfies, they were intimate photos of myself. And at first I started to say no, because I didn't feel comfortable with that. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. But I looked around me and I saw all my friends talking about it at school and how they were sending photos to boys, and so it was sort of normalised. As I said, my phone's always in my hand, the pressure was constant, he was texting me every single day, asking for it, and it just didn't stop. So eventually I gave in to the pressure and I did send a photo of myself with no clothes on, and it's something that a photo that I wouldn't want my family or my friends to see. After sort of an hour, I got a Snapchat back from him, and when I saw I had a Snapchat, I was like, oh yes, finally he's replied. Maybe he's just been busy, or maybe he opened it and his phone died. I didn't really know what was happening, but I was just happy to see that he had eventually replied to me. But when I opened it up, it turned out that it wasn't him. Instead, it was a face of a girl that was in my year group that I knew, and it just sort of said, ha ha, I've got you. First sort of thing that went through my head was confusion. Like, has she got his phone somehow? Has he lost it? But the penny sort of dropped that she had been using his account, but I just couldn't think about anything else. I can remember things being on TV, like one of my favourite programmes, and it just being a complete blur, and just being blinded to the world around me. I just felt completely ashamed and embarrassed that someone who I didn't intend to see the photo hadn't seen it. So I thought the best thing to do would be to turn my phone off, to ignore her, ignore the social media world, turn it off and go to sleep and hope the problem went away. But that's not really what happens in the social media world. So the next day I got to school and I was absolutely dreading going in, but my best friend sort of came and found me and said, look, this has happened, everybody's seen it, I've seen it, it's all around the school, everybody's got it on their phone, like, what have you done? And why have you done this? And why didn't you sort of tell me last night? I just felt like everybody's eyes were on me, everybody was staring at me. I was just so paranoid that everybody was talking about me, and I can remember just being in the school toilets, like crying my eyes out, and my friends were just dragging me by my hand to go see my tutor, and I just got to my tutor and poured my heart out and told her everything that had happened, because I just couldn't deal with it. At that point, my tutor sort of looked at me really shocked and sort of just shook her head and was like, oh, Megan, why have you done this? Like, sort of like disappointed, but caring disappointed. At that moment when I was sort of in the staff room, I can remember, well, I can't really remember too much of it because my mind sort of had a bit of a blank, but I can just remember being unconsolably crying. I can just remember being sat opposite everyone, and it just felt like everyone was interrogating me and that I was in the wrong, and I was the one that had done something really bad, but I just had been stupid. Over time, I sort of used Childline's online chat service to help me through stuff, because I needed to speak to someone that sort of didn't know, and I'd just go online and speak to Childline, and they gave me some advice and they talked stuff through. I just felt like if a problem was shared with even them, then it's a problem halved. So to sort of get myself through it, I just focused on the friends that I knew were true to me and the people that had been there for me and didn't judge me after the incident happened, doing anything that I could to distract myself and also better myself after that, and just try and work hard and create stuff that I'm proud of after doing something that I wasn't so proud of. My advice to anyone going through a similar situation to me is talk to someone when you're being asked to send a photo, because at this point it can be stopped. If you have sent a photo and it has been shared, don't keep it to yourself, because there are people out there that can help. And remember that if someone does truly care about you, then they won't ask you to do something you're not feeling comfortable with.
Does anybody have any questions
I
about
do
the video?
appreciate that it can be difficult to speak about this type of topic with an adult that you're close to.
So from watching that video, without naming names or anything, have you guys heard anything like this before happening to anybody? Yeah.
And you guys are in such a unique time, because not that long ago when I was in high school, we didn't have these smartphones and all these things. The only social media thing we had was MySpace. You know, my first phone was a flip phone. Take 2 pictures, your camera rolls full, and that was it.
You guys
Right?
know what T9 is?
Yeah, that's good. So now you guys are in this time when all it is smartphones and all these social media sites. You're more likely to get involved in those situations. So why do you think Megan sent that photo? Pressure? Okay, anything else? Got right? Did you hear it?
Like peer pressure and like sort of like peer pressure and a little bit of like manipulation.
Okay.
If I was listening, she'd be like,
Yeah, so she trusted this person. She said at the end that if someone that she really cares about, if someone that really cares about her, the moment you say no, they're gonna respect that, and they're not gonna ask you anymore. If they keep pushing you and pushing you, pushing you, end it. Stop communication and be done with it, right? What's your channel? What was it? Block them?
Report it.
Report it? Yeah.
Like block the person and then report it, or tell them, or like tell for like the parents or something.
Parent, guardians, teachers, police?
Just not responding.
Yep, stop responding, block them.
This side is really doing a great job. This side. They are overpowering you guys with your knowledge. Yeah, that makes sense. That's very much it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so how did Megan's classmates contribute to the problem? So if it wasn't, let's go over here.
Yeah,
Go.
please.
Everyone saw the photo and then everyone was like talking about it.
Okay, what else? What else did you do? Sharing it around?
Not
Okay. So.
telling the right people.
Yep.
It caused a lot of mental and social stress on me as well.
There you go. Perfect. All right. So once you start sending that picture around and say talking about it but not reporting it, you're causing to the problem. You're not helping. All right. You're not causing a solution. How's this going to affect Megan in the future? Again, high school. How's this going to affect her?
So
Yep. The memories.
Plenty of trauma and like probably a record because police and stuff.
Yep. So it's not going to affect her with getting a job or anything like that. That kind of record. But mentally, emotionally, right? It's going to be a
Could
toll.
also pop up again.
Yep.
Could resurface.
It absolutely can
Would
resurface.
help you or would harm you with getting a job.
Yep. So it could also be a situation that they may think it's over, and then something might trigger it again, and then now they got to relive what happened then. You know, she might have to go to another school, or, you know, move town, whatever the case is. It happens. It's also a more definite consequence to this. They might end up taking their life, and I know that sounds brutal, but it has happened. All right, because they have to go to school every single day, knowing what people have seen, knowing what people talk about her, and then they think the only out to this is just ending it all. Okay? And like I said, it does happen. All right? Yes.
How about the person who dated her into doing it?
So go, depending on the outcome of the search. So say she doesn't do any harm to herself or anything like that, right? It's a harassment. All right? So they will go through the whole cyber harassment deal, interview them, potentially charges and stuff like that, determine if they're a juvenile. It all depends case by case basis, but it will be investigated. They could potentially be charged with this. And again, those people that have been sending it as well could also face consequences. So it's not just the person who initially sent it. Okay.
In this case though, would that also be considered sending child pornography?
If she's her age, but if she was, yes. Yep.
No, I'll send it. I forgot my question. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm gonna. How much time do we have left? I don't want to. What was it? Oh, cool. Yes, go.
So that number that she said to call to see what it's talk to someone to you, is that like national? Is that local? Like, can we get that information?
I could get the exact information. I can forward it to you guys.
Thank
Yep.
you.
So I was wondering, so isn't the whole entire school, right? Took all their phones and delete it. It's still gonna be there, even if it looks it's gone.
We'll be able to find it. We're good at what we do.
Nice.
So there is a show on this, a short show on it, but I forget the actual names and stuff like that. But it was some of you teachers probably know what I'm talking about, where the female was dating a male, and she pretty much talked him to taking his life because he was that depressed in his life. She talked right through to the point where he took his life. When he took his life, the cops looked into suicide. And then when they took the phone to start reading text messages, what do you think happened to her? She went to jail. She convinced him to take his own life and kept telling him to do it, forced his hand to do it. What was that? Yep, they were dating. So she got charged with essentially the murder of her boyfriend, just based off of a text message back and forth. Okay. So you could read into it if you guys want to look into it, but in my opinion, she wanted the attention that her boyfriend died, and she liked all that attention that she was getting after the fact.
How old were they?
They were in high school age, something like that. Okay. Any other questions? Whether it's related to this, anything else that you want to know that we do or anything, please ask. Okay. No. Okay.
So, what? Yeah, was she trying to do like a joke with him about this? Like maybe so that he wouldn't actually listen to her.
No, her plan was for him to do. Good. Okay.
This would ever happen, like say you don't want to be a part of it, but if someone said it to you, that you delete the photo again, call the police or
So what kind of photo are we talking about? Like an inappropriate photo?
yeah. Like say someone said, hey, check this out on your work, and like you don't want to be part of it, you call the police first, or
I recommend going to the
Yeah,
parent
like if
guardian
you're in
teacher.
school,
Yeah.
like we said, if you're in school and you receive a message like that, I don't know what the school policies are, if you're allowed to have your phone in class, if you're not allowed to have your phone in your class, I'm not sure about that. But like if you do receive something at the end of the class period or whenever you guys change classes, that's what you guys do here, let the teacher know, and the teacher will go from, follow their protocols and go from there.
So, wait, okay, so we told it last time, so the girlfriend texted on the boyfriend to kill himself because she wanted the attention.
She knew he was already depressed. He had attempted it numerous times before, so she just pushed him over the edge
So
too.
she was using him for,
What was that?
so she was using him for attention.
Correct. Yep. That's what it's believed to be. Yeah.
That's smart.
There were like a photo of like the one on the internet, but you gave it to someone and they posted it. Would you take a screenshot of it on like your group chat, or you have it on your phone and you just show it on the
Show it's on the phone. Yeah. Yep.
Was that like
Trying.
sort of
Oh, is people raising hands over here?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
You're next, I promise.
that's a true story. Yep, you can look it up online. No, I'm not kidding.
Okay. So after the incident, the charges and the whole process,
Yeah.
after it's all done, now do you guys talk to social media companies to get the inappropriate picture out of circulation, and does it like get destroyed or archived, or what happens with your guys' involvement with?
So we do.
You have good questions.
Yeah, it's a very good question. The chances of it actually ever going away is like slim to none, right? We can tell social medias to get rid of it 100%, but it's always somewhere, right?
So do you have any way to like contact like any sort of any like I guess social media companies or huge like any like sort of people that can like try to like get rid of like the posts or text or like
So each like social media, like you'll be detective able to speak more, but like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, they have like a law enforcement like group contact that you can contact them about questions like that. But like we said, once something posts out there, no matter how much you try and get it down, it's still somewhere out there.
But we could have the social medias, the companies that most likely deactivate those accounts, and then they shouldn't be there. And a lot of times, if it's a juvenile and we get parents involved, they're going to take that phone, so then they're not even going to have access to that phone anymore, right? Most of the time, they get rid of that phone, parents get rid of it, and then they get a new phone later on when they're good behavior or whatever.
And like when you guys get your phone signal, it's like the end of the world. Like you can't go outside and like
Take my phone, I don't want it.
ride a bike or something like that.
Can you explain what would happen if a kid takes a picture of like drug paraphernalia and it gets reported to you guys? What would happen there?
Had it before.
Yeah.
So it depends on what kind of drugs we're talking about, right? And then we're gonna investigate this. So we're gonna try to figure out where was the picture taken, where are these drugs and paraphernalia located? Was it in the school? Because then we got a bigger problem. And then we'll ask the person who got the picture. Is that what you're saying? They got the picture.
Sure, yeah. And
Okay.
someone reports it, but they know who the kid is or the person, whoever.
We'll investigate that, because again, if it's marijuana, right? None of you guys could have marijuana, right? Correct?
That's like one of the most.
Supposed to shake your head and say
Yes.
yes.
No marijuana.
Sorry. Shake
Okay.
your head no, actually. Say no, we're not supposed to have it. Don't shake your head yes, shake your head no.
If it's on school property, then we got another big problem. Okay, there's additional charges of possession and stuff like that. So we will investigate it. They can be, not the person who received it, but the person who took the photo, who was in possession, can be charged criminally for possession of paraphernalia.
We have 2 questions left, 1 and 2. Go ahead. Ladies first.
So I don't know if this is true, but I heard that like a year ago maybe I heard that someone was talking to like a stranger and they like had included like pictures of other people and they would like take screenshots and send it to them of that people, of those other people, and that person who was like receiving those like they fell for it and they got into like a really big like thing with their family and their
Yeah, that does happen. Yeah. Gotcha.
And the last question, make it a good one.
Okay, so how do you guys do most of with the social media stuff? Do you guys do it mostly so you have a desk and everything? Do you do it mostly on the desk, or do you go out sometimes and do it like in the field?
So a lot of it's at a desk, but like I said, I get calls from school, so I'll just go to the school, do stuff there. But if I'm going to interview a kid, then I'm going to bring it back to the station where it's all recorded, documented, and like that. But